that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. And then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by that man, you know y'all just been running game. The nerve of you acting like I ain't.
Welcome, family. Welcome to the Campaign TV show. I am your host, Brother King Cam, and welcome back to the podcast, a podcast where we have real discussions with real people, family. So before we get started, I need everybody to share this out. Everybody to share this out so we can get as many people in the building tonight for this beautiful discussion. I know y'all seen the title. I need y'all to comment in the comment section what city and state you tuning in from. I need you to comment in the comment section what state you tuning in from, because this is going to be a wonderful discussion tonight. It's going to be a wonderful discussion tonight, family, because this is something that has been going on in the community, and we really want to be able to get some answers. We really want to be able to get some answers for tonight, family. Based on this conversation, state of emergency, crisis of black relationships in the black community. Because what I've been able to see across the landscape is a lot of different issues that affect the dynamics as it pertains to the black community. Specifically, the black man and black woman, because that is the foundation of the nation. If you can keep them at odds, they can never ever build a strong nation, family. So shout out to New Orleans. We got New Orleans in the building. Walaikum salam, Brother Sharif. We got Richmond, Virginia. That's the hometown. Shout out to Richmond, Virginia. We got Indianapolis in the building. Denver, Colorado. What's up, Denver? Springfield, Ohio. Yeah, okay. Fort Wayne, Indiana. Southfield, Michigan. There we go. Southfield, Michigan in the building. All right. So we have Detroit in the building. We got Detroit in the building. Man, please give yourselves a round of applause. Yeah, for being here tonight. Give yourself a round of applause. Shout out to Arizona. Family. So as we go ahead and set up for tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this record by Brother Ben X. And as we drop this record, family, I need you to share, and I need you to like as well so we can get as many people in the building, all right? So tap in.
You don't tell the white man that you're willing to go back and cut no underbrush. We already did that once. If we have to do it again, that's not progress. Hell no. Get out of the cities and the towns that we helped you build. Go and find some other state to move in. You move out, we move in. Now wait a minute. You say, oh, come on, Farrakhan, that's a pipe dream. Well, damn, you better put it in your pipe then.
400 years we've been lacking reacting. Ain't no more lacking we acting. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping. 400 years we've been lacking reacting. Ain't no more lacking we acting. We standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it all rapping. The youth don't need a stunt double. Introduce them to the real thing. Gotta tell them about the hidden hand. Real talk, that's the real pain. Introduce you to the white man. Think you made it, that's the real pain. Then I let you see a white snake and you can't see they the same thing. Get your bread, yeah, build your business. Hidden hand in the same lane. Keep a slaves in a small cell. Tell a young nigga bang bang. Shoot first, ask questions later. Two brothers in the same game. Fuck that like fuck crack. Big dog like a Great Dane. 400 years we've been lacking reacting. Animal like and we active, we standing up, now we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it out rapping. 400 years we've been lacking reactive. Animal like and we active, we standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it out rapping. 400 years in a living hell. Break chains, gotta break free. Do for self like Elijah said. Fire him before he fire me. Eat good, heat the man of God. Ain't falling for the vaccine. Up late, playing plotting freedom. Still building, no caffeine. Better tune in to Farrakhan, cause this here is a marathon. Build now, getting real now. Witness the fall of Babylon. Black man, you the first man. Getting tricked by mankind. If we unite and rise up, we'll win every damn time. 400 years we've been lacking reactive. Animal like and we active, we standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns, we know that they capping. We know they got it out rapping. 400 years we've been lacking reactive. Animal like and we active, we standing up now, we up at it, we at you. Now I go get it and stack it. Waking up now, we don't need no more trapping. Cause we know these niggas acting. They talk about guns.
Share this out, family.
We know they got it out.
Yeah.
Pay me for my pain, yeah. Pay me for my tears. Pay me reparations for all 400 years. All my people struggled and all my people feel. And now we come and taking everything while we give it some.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to East Cleveland in the building, Cincinnati in the building. Yes, Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas. So, man, look, I appreciate all of the love. Wa alaikum salam, family. I appreciate all of the love, but I am not going to keep us at bay no longer, family. I'm not going to keep us at bay no longer. Tonight, we're going to be discussing the state of emergency, crisis in relationships in the black community with my big brother, student minister Nuri Muhammad. I'm going to bring him up, but first and foremost, I got to just lay the foundation. My brother is an author. He is a speaker. He is a husband, and he is a faithful and diligent servant and a servant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I'm speaking of none other than brother student minister Nuri Muhammad, the student minister at Muhammad Mosque number 74, family. So let me go ahead and get him in the room right now. There you go. That's my brother.
We had to get some alternative devices to make this happen. But I'm so honored, Brother King Cam, to share space and time with you on this wonderful platform with all of the viewers that are present as well. I'm honored.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, we are honored here on the platform to have you come, brother, and just speak with us just for a few moments tonight in reference to the subject. Because what I've been noticing, brother minister, is that there has been a lot of issues in our community, and it has seems to keep driving the wedge between the black man and the black woman. You know, every issue that comes up, it causes infighting between the black man and the black woman. So, you know, it's a crisis going on in our community, you know, with the commentary. Right. With the commentary of Brother Kevin Samuels to the most recent Roe V Wade. For some reason, we always find a way to turn in on each other. So I said, man, I got to bring a brother that has been writing and publishing some solutions directly from the servant of God himself to help us get back on the right track. So I wanted to bring you on to have that conversation. So thank you again, Brother Minister, for joining us.
Oh, it's my honor and privilege and to be on. And just as you said, Brother King Cam, the reality is that when you unpack the variables of the Bible and Holy Quran, you'll find that God's mathematics is always addition and multiplication, and the devil's mathematics is always subtraction and division. Mm-hmm. So whatever type of conversation is in the atmosphere that produces division or makes us less powerful, less united than what we were before that conversation, then you can pretty much rest assured that that's Satan communicating in that conversation. And the enemy has always known, ever since they found us in the motherland on the Nile River, that the black family in general and black marriage in specific has always been the power base of the black man. So if I can keep the black man and the black woman separate from one another in thought, in concept, and in relationship, then I know that they know that we as a people will never be a formidable threat to actually destabilize and destroy white supremacy once and for all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a fact, family. That's a fact. And as I mentioned earlier, family is the cornerstone for nation. And without the family, you cannot build a strong nation. So I want to get right into it, Brother Minister. Just a couple of days ago, there was news that came down through the Supreme Court in reference to Roe v. Wade and the overturning of that precedent. And what I've been able to see on the social media landscapes and then the conversations that people are having at, at home and the dinner table and, on social media is, how this is affecting the relationships between men and women. Men are having opinions or making statements. Women are saying that they shouldn't be doing so, and it's causing a great divide there. Once again, with our already damaged communication. So I want to play a news clip really quick, and then from there, I want to hear your thoughts on that.
Yes, sir.
The Supreme Court overturning Roe versus Wade, ending abortion as a constitutional right after nearly a half century. The impact, as you know, felt across the country as soon as it came down. At least 26 states are expected to ban or severely restrict abortion rights. Our senior national correspondent, Terry Moran, starts us off in the Supreme Court. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Robin. When the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, it changed the status of American women as citizens under the Constitution. And this morning, that judicial decision is swiftly becoming hard law in states across the country, triggering anguished protests and joyful celebrations.
Abort this court! Abort this court!
Overnight, the tectonic shift by the Supreme Court causing two waves across the country. Americans in dozens of cities and states taking to the streets to denounce the decision to undo Roe versus Wade. While others celebrate a reversal achieved after decades of activism. And while most protests were peaceful, at times the two waves crashed. A truck running through protesters in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Police deploying tear gas against protesters at the Arizona State House. And tasing and detaining abortion rights protesters in Greenville, South Carolina. The Supreme Court decision Friday overturned nearly 50 years of a woman's right to choose abortion under the Constitution. The conservative majority on the bench clearing the way for individual states to restrict or outright ban abortion services. This morning, 8 states are enforcing bans with few exceptions, and an additional 18 are likely to ban or severely restrict abortion services in the coming weeks. Pressure is growing on President Biden from within his own party, 34 Democratic senators urging him to, quote, take every step available to help women access abortions.
It also means asking the President of the United States to make abortion as available as possible with the tools he has, including medication abortion, including using federal lands as a place where abortions can occur.
The White House says it will challenge states that try to stop women from traveling across state lines to receive abortion services, but Biden says the larger issue is one for the voters in November, a fight anti-abortion rights advocates are ready for.
I cried. I don't usually cry. But, and it's not the end, it's the beginning of a lot to do, to protect babies.
So there you have it, family. So, Brother Minister, yes, what are your thoughts?
Well, I just got finished listening to the Tower of Babel.
Yes, sir.
And, unfortunately, we as a people, black people in general, and human beings as well. Anytime that someone adds emotion, sad or mad, or articulation to any system of information, we assume that that information has to be true and right. So if I'm saying something and I cry, it's got to be true. If I'm saying something and I'm yelling it with enough anger, it's got to be true. Or if I'm saying something and I've been able to study enough dictionary words to be able to play word gymnastics and whatnot, then I'm so articulate that my articulate lie sounds like it is the truth. But whether you are sad, whether you are mad, whether you cry, whether you yell, or whether you can add perfect adjective and adverbs and articulate and play word gymnastics all you want, the truth is the truth. And unfortunately, as you heard the senator from Illinois, Mary Miller, say, with Trump standing right behind her, the day after the abortion or Roe versus Wade was overturned, listen to her language. She said yesterday in the Supreme Court was a great, great win or victory for white life.
That's what she said.
So in America, Brother King Cam and viewers, the leading cause of death in the United States of America is not homicide, it's not suicide, it's not car accidents, it's not overdose, it's not cancer, AIDS, heart disease, or stroke. The number one cause of death in the United States of America is, in fact, abortion. Every day in America, 4,000 babies are aborted. 1,500 of them are black, even though we only make up 12% of the population. But 2,200 of those aborted every day are Caucasian babies. Now, as you know, and those that are wise know, that we are in the browning of America. White people right now, and it has been the case for 27 years, for 27 years, Caucasian people's birth rate has been 0. That means that for every time a baby is born, a white person dies. So white people are getting older and grayer and dying off, and black and brown people are growing in number. And by law of a democratic society, one man, one vote, then it puts them in a position where they will soon be the minority. We will be the majority, and we can walk ourselves into any position of power just because we outnumber them as we are coming. So they're not really interested in passing this law to protect and preserve our lives. They're interested in trying to keep them 2,200 babies that could have been born that are killed every day of a Caucasian descent, possibly on the planet, that they might be able to compete in the world and not go extinct as it looks as though it is happening. So this mathematics, sisters and brothers, at the end of the day, as I said, sad, mad, yelling, fuss, it makes no difference whether you're sad, mad, or articulate. Truth is the truth. And the question must be raised, what is God's will for his people? Not what do the Republican clan or the Democrats think about abortion? Not what does the male or the female think of, what does God think about abortion? And in our book, the Holy Quran, it says that in Surah 3:6, it says, I, Allah, created you in the womb of your mother. In Jeremiah 1:5 of the Bible, God says, I knew you before you were in the womb of your mother, and I formed you in your mother's womb. Psalms 105 says that God himself knitted me in the womb and formed me into shape. So if God knew us before we were in our mother's womb, then long before we ever was a seed in our father or a part of the DNA found in the womb of the mother, before they ever met, we were already worked out on the big screen of God's mind.
Come on now.
So he's the owner. He's the creator. He's the author of life. This is not about the rights of a woman's body. This is who is responsible for life itself and the author of life. If you're raped, we understand. You should be able to end that pregnancy. If you have the potential of suffering death because of a pregnancy, then you should not be pregnant. But outside of being raped, outside of being at risk to lose your baby, or the baby is at risk of born without life, outside of that dynamic being a high percentage, don't let social circumstances and social inconvenience of a child being in your life cause you to abort that one that could be born to cure sickle cell, breast cancer. The answers to the prayers ain't coming from no mystery God in the sky. The answers to our prayers have always come through the sacred chamber of a woman's womb in the form of a male or a female born with a predetermined idea to solve the problems and answer the prayers of the people that have been praying for a solution. So don't let circumstance cause you, Mary, to wipe out a Jesus. Don't let social circumstance cause you to wipe out a Moses. Both Moses and Jesus's mother were in a very serious, life-threatening circumstance, but they decided to go forth and look at the world now because of the great Old Testament and the New Testament and the working example of Jesus. You don't know who you're carrying, so don't let social inconvenience stop you from giving the world the answers to the prayers coming through your sacred womb.
Praise be to Allah, man.
Sorry for such a long answer, but that's what I heard when I heard that news clip, and of course, it's the same in all of the news clips.
Yes, sir.
They're trying to preserve white life because they know they're dying off, and they've worked so hard at gender bending with us that if we continue to, as a man, not want a woman, and as a woman, not want a man, but want each other, we won't even be in a position to bring birth to a son or a daughter. They are trying to stay on the scene. That's why Mary Miller of Illinois would say it was a victory for white life.
That's right. That's right, family. That's right. And I posted that clip on my Instagram, and somebody tried to say that it was a voiceover. She didn't say it. Family, you cannot deny this. You cannot deny the fact that this is the fall of America, and what these people are saying open and in the public is what they really feel. And as Brother Minister Nuri just said, she said it. It's a victory for white life because they're the ones who are suffering. They have fertility clinics in their community because they having trouble and issues getting pregnant. They have abortion clinics in the black community because we have no problems in that area. And they're trying to slow us down to try to preserve life for themselves, family. So we got to leave the emotions to the side. We got to clear the forest so we can see the trees. And when you get down to the information and the truth of it, this was something that God definitely has his hand on. So appreciate that answer, Brother Minister. Yes,
all
sir.
All praise due to Allah. And just remember this, if you claim to be religious, spiritual, or believer in God and his messengers and prophets, or if you have the title of you call yourself a Christian, then didn't David the psalmist tell us to lean not on thine own understanding, but in all thine ways acknowledge him?
Come on now.
And whenever you see the word him in this verse in Psalms, it's a capital H. See, when you see a lowercase he or him, that's talking about a regular person. But if you see a capital H, he or him, in the middle of a sentence, that means that God is that he or him.
Yes, sir.
So this says, lean not on thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge this capital H, him, and this capital H, he, will direct your paths and show you the way. So you got to do as Paul said, look, bring every thought captive unto Christ. Capture what you're thinking. Bring it to, and compare what you're thinking next to the mind of God. And if God's mind or his word agrees with what you think, then you can keep that thought. But if you compare what you're thinking to the mind of God found in scripture, and what you're thinking doesn't match the mind of God, you got to kill that thought. So this concept of taking the life of a baby simply because of a social inconvenience is considered to be the unjust sacrifice of a child and the murder of the innocent in all forms of scripture. And don't think that God is not a God of justice. He wants that life and he forms that life. So you don't want to be on the opposite side of God, killing one of the entities that he brings into the universe to answer the prayers of the problems of this world. Now, sisters, if you have already done this in the past, I heard the minister, he was asked a question, can I be forgiven for performing such an act? And he said, yes, you can. So go and ask the God to forgive you. And if you want to exercise freedom of choice, then choose wisely who you decide to be with and who you lay down with. Don't choose after you lay down with someone that you wish you wouldn't have laid down with. Don't choose to kill that Jesus, that Moses, that Garvey, that Muhammad that's coming forth from your womb, that doctor, that physicist, that chemist that's coming from your womb to solve the problems of the world. Keep them. Keep the baby. Nurture the baby. Don't worry about your pocket. Don't worry about your time. You will have more in your pocket and more energy in your time to make sure that that son or daughter can be what they're supposed to be.
Praise be to Allah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I wanted to share this clip of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan giving us some divine guidance in this manner or on this matter. And then we'll be moving on. So I want to hear the minister real quick, and then we'll be back.
I don't know what Mr. Kavanaugh is going to do as a justice now. Some of the sisters or women say, well, I think he's going to go against Roe V Wade. Beloved sisters, you should be against abortion delivered because of our indiscretion and our unwillingness to take responsibility for our actions. Listen carefully to what I'm about to say. Every prayer that you make, when you ask God, God, my mama died from breast cancer. So to the marchers who marched today, keep on marching, because it's a scourge that we have to end. Breast cancer is a scourge. Somebody needs to come up with a cure for cancer. The cure for autoimmune diseases, the cure for AIDS, the cure for Ebola, the cure for diseases, some of them made by man for genocidal purposes. So when your loved one dies from an illness, and at the funeral you grieve, when it's time to say your prayers, you ask God, could you send us somebody to heal this disease?
Come on, teach.
The Quran says, pray to me.
Come on.
I will answer you.
46.
Well, how will the prayer of a woman or a man praying to God for relief from a disease, how will that prayer be answered? It will be answered from the womb of a woman who may be a simple woman,
Teach.
but her womb is going to produce a child born to find the cure. So when you kill the fruit of the womb, you may be killing the answer to your own prayers. You are a sacred woman. My mother wanted to abort me. Some of my enemies say she should have been successful. In those days, they just used hangers. Terrible. She tried 3 times because my presence would hurt her personal life with a boyfriend, the father of my older brother. He already had a boy, he wanted a girl. I want to tell you something about desires. Because desire feeds the will. And the will is the power of God in any human being to accomplish what you will if your will is strong enough. Thought shapes matter. So as a man thinketh in his heart, as a woman thinketh, so is she. When your head is messed up with foul thinking, it don't make no difference if you eat properly.
That's right. That's right.
Because eating properly and thinking wickedly will put a toxic spin on what your stomach is digesting. Are you listening?
Sir. All right, family. So that was the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan giving us that divine guidance and wisdom. Hold up.
Come on now. There you have it. There you have it. From the mouthpiece of God, the trumpet of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that master teacher among us today.
That's it. That's it, family. So remember, before you decide to make a decision like that, you could be killing the answer to your own prayers, family. We cannot be found guilty of that. Oh, man, so that was just such a beautiful segment. That was such a beautiful segment, man. We got to give ourselves a round of applause for that one, family. That was beautiful. Now, Brother Minister, what I've been seeing a lot as well, not only with the Roe V Wade, recently, causing confusion in our community, but even prior to, even with the commentary of Brother Kevin Samuels, may Allah be pleased with that brother. He was making some statements and having some conversations that seem to be a little bit uncomfortable as it pertains to the women. And even though he had commentary that got on the brothers as well. So what I've been able to see is that there is a miscommunication, and I've heard you speak on this before about a what was the terminology that you used? A misunderstood word.
Yeah.
I've heard you. Yes, sir. A misunderstood word. There's a misunderstood word in the communication between black men and black women. And it's because the natures are not fully understood. Women are looking for certain things out of men today. Men are looking for certain things out of women today. But there seems to be a disconnect as it pertains to the nature. So could you talk about what is the proper nature of a man in reference to a woman and the proper nature of a woman in reference to a man?
Well, the beauty of it all is that, just think about this, Brother King Cam. Whenever you are in the public, or your wife is not present, and you're referring to her in title instead of by her name, you'll say sometime my other half.
Yes, sir.
Look at that. Why would we call our spouses our other half, except that we are admitting that we're not a whole individual or a whole person without them? So in mathematics, what does it take in order for you to add fractions together? First thing you must have is a common denominator. So even though the male and the female, as the Holy Quran teaches, he says, God, the male and the female are not alike. We're not alike in purpose, function, but we do share the same nature. I was just reading this a little earlier today, where the minister says these words. He says that when he created the mate of the same kind, it's not just the same kind in color. We are the same kind in nature, spirit, and function. She is God as he is God, but she's the second self of God.
Well, teach on that now.
So mathematically speaking, what we are saying is that the common denominator that causes the two fractions to come together to make the whole number, to make the whole marriage, to make the whole power base called family, is that we have that same nature of God. The 99 attributes of Allah, the 99 characteristics of God are not just in the male, they are also in the female. There's some of those 99 that as a male we manifest naturally with little effort, teaching, and training. And then there's also some of those attributes that as a female she manifests with little or no effort or teaching or training. It just happens automatically. But those things that we don't act on in the character or nature of God automatically, as a man, we have to study those functions, characteristics in our woman so that we can adapt to and activate attributes in us. They're present. They just need to be nurtured and cultivated. They're not automatically possessed. So you can sum it up real quick if you want to do a fraction. Look at this. You look at man. Man was created rational/emotional, and the female is emotional/rational. If you look at that fraction, R over E, and you look at the other fraction for female, E over R, and when you want to multiply fractions, if you find that the numerator in one fraction is the same as the denominator in the other, you can cross out that number, whatever it is, and put the number 1 in its place. So if you have a R numerator for man, R denominator for woman, cross them out and put 1 in its place. If you have a E denominator for man, E numerator for woman, cross out the E's and put 1. And when you put the fraction 1 over 1, 1 over 1 equals 1, meaning we become one. So it is only when we are congruent and living in accord with that nature and recognizing that we are two twin halves of a single essence, and that single essence is God Himself. The 99 attributes of Allah are all in us. Some are manifest automatic, and some have to be activated by education. And we learn from each other how to do those things. She can learn from us how to activate what you would say, for the lack of a better word, some of those masculine attributes of God in her. And we can learn from her to figure out how we can activate, for the lack of a better word, some of the so-called feminine attributes of God that's in us as well. So that's the math, Brother King Cam. We do have the same nature. And that nature, so said the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is the character of the Supreme Being Himself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for that, Brother Minister. Yes, sir. And I think that's important, and I want to kind of camel back off of the piece about the attributes that have to be activated through knowledge. What because I notice a lot of the times in the beginning, in the world we call dating, in the nation it's the courtship process, but
right.
There's a conversation going on in the beginning to get to know one another, right? But oftentimes when people are dating, there are a lot of red flags that happen in the dating portion that people skip over, and then they in a relationship for a year, 2 years, or whatever the case may be, and these red flags have become points of contention now. These are points that are going to either make or break the relationship. So how important is that knowledge, and at what point is that knowledge necessary for you to indulge in? Is it constant? Is it something that should be happening in the beginning? When should that be taking place?
Well, the first thing, see, the difference between dating and courting is that dating is interacting with the opposite sex without facts, only feelings.
Say that again.
I said dating is interacting with the opposite of sex without facts, just feelings.
Yes, sir.
And courting is the interaction with the opposite sex with facts and no feelings. Why? Because once you engage in sexual intimacy with the opposite sex, the emotion that comes from sex clouds the judgment. The pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the judgment centers of the brain are then clouded by the emotions that came from the physical interaction with the opposite sex. So what you said is that we see red flags, but you know how it is when it's foggy outside. Is that really a red flag down there?
Yes, sir.
Now, mate, you know what? Matter of fact, I don't even think that's red. That probably is not one. And what's causing the cloudiness or the clouded judgment is that you've engaged in an act that produced a feeling that blurred your ability to judge the facts. So the best methodology for getting to know someone, first of all, you have to get to know yourself. Because if you don't know who you are and you don't know where you're going, you don't need any help getting there. So why are you looking for somebody to come along the journey with you to call them your help meet if you don't have something you're trying to meet?
Good point.
So that first phase of life really is to find your purpose before you find a partner. Chase your purpose, court your purpose, build a strong relationship with your purpose, because if you go after your partner and then you find your purpose 5 years later, you may find that your partner is not a good match for your purpose, And the purpose in a man's life, so teaches the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, is where joy and happiness comes from for the male and from the female. So you don't want to jump into something off of feelings, numb and clouded facts, without purpose for yourself. Just got you a partner, and they're not a good fit for your purpose that you've come in contact with. You want to take your time and avoid that physical interaction,
Yes,
that
sir.
touch, that sexual intercourse, so that you can see it. Now, this is a formula that I learned from the minister in some private time with him once. He said this. He said, you should make a list of what you think an ideal man looks like for you as a woman, and the same you should do as a man. What does an ideal woman look like to you? And before you start writing the list, I do need to tell you, brothers and sisters, that you should have spiritual and mental and personality traits at the top of your list, not physical traits. You bet not be over there talking about he got to be 6'3", dark skin, bald head, with wide shoulder. That bet not be at the top of your list.
Yes, sir.
Talking about how she got to be short, her hair got to be this kind of way. I want her eyes to be brown. You bet not put that at the top of your list. Matter of fact, don't even put none of that on the list.
Yes, sir.
Put them psychological, spiritual, and personality traits. When you're courting somebody, see, no feelings to get in the way of your facts. I'm not touching you. We're not holding hands. We're not doing none of that. Ain't no kissing. I'm not giving you no massages. We're not engaging in no intercourse. Matter of fact, we're not even going to be alone together nowhere. We're going to always have somebody with us to make sure we keep ourselves together.
That's right. That's right.
And
Keep the mind clear.
And we're watching. And guess what you're doing, sister? You're looking at your list. Not showing him your list. You're looking at your list. And then you're checking off as you began to interact with this brother. Man, I got 10 things on the list. Well, what the minister said, if you can find 70% of what you're looking for in the man you're considering to match your list of what an ideal man looks like, that's a sign that compatibility is present.
That's a
And
bar
on the
right
flip
there.
side for the brother. Now, if you got 10 things on the list and he only matches up to 3, and you think that you're going to love him and cook for him and put that good this all, you think that's going to get, no, I promise you, you won't have you a partner, you'll have you a project. And you don't want your mate to be your project. You want your mate to be your partner to help you with some projects, not be a project themselves, either side. So it's very important. I know that's a little off the question answer, but it's very important that you don't come with clouded judgment. And let me say this, even when you're courting, you shouldn't even buy gifts for each other. Not even flowers, nothing.
Because that's an emotional, that causes emotional reaction.
Yeah, the minister, and it puts someone in debt to you.
Yes, sir. Yep.
See, the minister said that when you're courting, the base word of courting is court. Both of you are operating as an investigator as well as a judge. Can you give a gift in court, a judge in court? Can you give a gift to a judge?
No, sir.
They call it what? Bribery.
Bribery.
So don't try to bribe each other when you're courting. Weigh the facts. And if you see that this person meets up to 70% of what you're looking for, that's a sign that compatibility is present. And you may want to move on in hopes of becoming husband and wife and achieve that status of happily ever after. But
yes, sir.
That knowledge has to start from the very beginning. First, with who you are and what you're looking for. Second, by your non-emotional, fact-based, not feeling-based interview of this person to see if they actually match up to 70% of what you're looking for in an ideal mate. And then if so, compatibility is present and you move forward without bribing the judge.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, family. Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it right there. We need to be taking those first few conversations extremely important because it's a fact-finding mission. And if you don't take it important, then what's going to happen is your partner end up your project, and projects cause problems. So you don't want that. You want your partner to be your partner that can help out with projects and help you build a legacy and a family for yourself. So that's what you want to get. And I want to say too, to go a little bit deeper into that, because a lot of people don't really understand, that love is duty. It's not just this mushy emotional thing. So a lot of people say, well, how, brother minister, how can I go, into a relationship or a friendship thing and my emotions not be there? Like, how do you separate the two?
Well, you let your love grow. See, the emotions that we're trying to keep out of it is infatuation. We're trying to keep lust out. That emotion of lust. We're trying to make sure that the emotion of thirsty. I know that ain't no emotion, but y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, sir.
We're trying to make sure that the emotion of pain from the loss in a bad relationship, that you're not trying to use this new person as a cover down for to heal the bomb of the pain that someone else caused. You're not involved. You're not trying to use the emotion of revenge to get back at somebody that left you, that did you wrong, and I'm gonna find somebody better than you, and then I'm gonna show him off to you or show her off to you, and you can see what you missed out on. These are the kind of childish, cheap emotions we're trying to keep in check. As time goes on, love will grow through communication. And as you said, in the Holy Quran, the word love and loved is not mentioned very often. It's only mentioned 30 or 40 times, but the word duty is mentioned 147 times. The word duty is another word for love. Your feelings that you have for someone, or the love you have for someone, makes duty an easy thing to do. It's not going to work. It's not a checklist. It's not a burden that I have to do this. Let me tell you this, sisters. When a man is in love with a woman, her needs become his goals.
Heavy.
And if you're with somebody that you have to ask and beg and plead, or you have to prostitute yourself to your own spouse in order to get what you're looking for, that's a sign that that man is not in love with you. Because when a man is in love with a woman, her needs become his goals. In fact, a man in love with a woman he always has his antenna raised high, overhearing and conversation that his wife is having, or looking at where his wife is talking about, or where she's looking at what she likes, and figuring out as soon as she say she likes this or she would like that he starts going to work to make that a reality for her. That's what love does. So you don't have to think in terms of love being duty, like the duty of working a white man's job. Now, this ain't wrapping no cheeseburger. This is not mopping the lobby. This is not fixing the milkshake machine. Now, this is not putting the brakes on a car. This not putting the tent film on the inside of the window. It's not that kind of duty. The duty of male and female relationship, the duty of marriage is rooted in love. It's not a burden. It's not a task. It's something you want to do, because a real man gets more joy really out of making his wife happy than anything he can do for himself. And when a woman's in love with a man, she's always thinking about what she can do to lift that man, inspire that man, show that man that she appreciates him. So a real healthy relationship, Brother King Cam, really is when two people are really vying with one another to see who can outlove and out honor and out gift the other. That's how it should.
That's heavy right there, man. Thank you for that, brother minister, because that's something that you don't really see when it comes to the relationship dynamics that we have today. Not really vying for each other's attention, but more so, honestly, is really trying to show one another off to the public, right? Like, you see a lot of people doing that on social media. They trying to show each other off to the public, but really, and I don't know for sure, but internally making sure that you have that same, like you said, level of vying for each other's attention that you do for the public. But I want to get to that communication piece, because you mentioned that, and I think that's important, because that's where everything breaks down in our community, right? It's the communication aspect of our relationships when it comes to the courtship in the beginning, or the dating in the beginning. And then as time goes on, the communication piece is something that breaks down. So what are some things that we could use to have better communication? Because, for example, women say a lot that they don't, that guys don't know what they want, right? They don't know exactly what it is that they want and that they're trying to do. And they're kind of just taking it day by day, things like that. So but that's cloudy for a woman,
Well, this is the reality. See, birds, bees, beetles, the creatures and the fowl of the planet, they don't have to read a book on how to love one another. Well, why is it so necessary for us to learn how to do all these things? The reason the bee, the bird, the fish, the fowl doesn't have to be taught this is because all of them are living 100% in accord with their nature. If we were following what Master Father Muhammad said, he could sum up the teachings in 6 words: accept your own and be yourself. If we were actually accepting our own and being our own righteous, God-centered, spiritual self, we would be operating in our nature like the fish in the water, like the bee in the hive, and we wouldn't have to have a communication breakdown and be taught how to properly communicate, or how do I even read what my man really wants, and how do I figure out what she really desires? It seems like she says one thing and then I do it and she really meant this. Well, this is the communication breakdown, is because, number one, we're not in accord with our nature. But until we get all the way back where we are that proud, powerful, pious, and productive people we once were before we were kidnapped and Caucasianized by this enemy, till we get back to our nature, remember this: there are 4 aspects to communication: transmitter, channel, receiver, and then feedback. Transmitter, channel, receiver, and then feedback. A husband and a wife, 2 people, are either they're transmitters and receivers. The feedback you get is based upon how the transmitter has sent this communication through this channel. Problem, Brother King Cam, I did a accidental study one time at the mosque, and I started just listening, not to what they were saying, but how we were talking to one another inside the mosque.
All right, family, I am sorry. We had some technical difficulties. I don't know what happened. The live had got cut out, but we are back. Man, Brother Minister Nuri was giving us so many gems. He was giving us so much wisdom. It fried the internet. So we had to get back. I think we back up now. So, man, we apologize for that, family. So share this out. Let's get everybody back in here. Brother Minister Nuri is anxious to hear, wanting to know what everybody heard, where we left off at. Yeah, they said it's freezing. Let me get Brother Minister back in here. All right, Brother Minister. Yeah. Okay. Yep. We still here, family. We still here. We still here. All right. So in the comment section, y'all, let me know what was the last thing that you all heard. Let me know in the comment section what was the last thing that you all heard. That's right. The bill was so powerful, it started burning up everything up in here. And it started freezing. The enemy don't want you to know about fixing your relationship, because see, when you start fixing your relationship, it's going to be less problems. It's going to be more healthy homes and more healthy families and more healthy children, going out into the world, defeating Satan's world and his institutions that he has set up. So strong families is something he don't want to hear talked about on his airwaves now. So that's definitely a point. That's a point. What was y'all saying? Okay. Oh, y'all were talking in the mosque. That's where you left off, Brother Minister. That's the last thing that you heard.
They did hear. So communication, we're dealing with transmitter through a channel to a receiver, and then the fourth ingredient is feedback. So what I noticed is, in my non-scientific observation, is that we were talking nicer to strangers than we were to spouses. Mm-hmm. So I would be able to predict from another room whether somebody was talking to their husband or their wife versus whether they were talking to a customer or just a stranger, because they were cold and short when they were talking to their husband or wife, but they were kind and patient and gentle and considerate when they were talking to a stranger. So we're not in accord with our nature. So now we have to figure out how do we increase the communication where we can in fact be effective. We are transmitters, we are receivers. We do get feedback, and the feedback we're receiving, we're not liking it. Well, the problem is the channel. What channel is the channel that a husband and a wife should be on whenever they're transmitting to the receiver to be able to get from their mate the appropriate feedback? It should be channel kindness. It should be channel kindness. Speak to each other with the same kind, consideration, compassion, and patience that we talk to other strangers with in the streets. And if we would talk to each other through channel kindness, we would find, after we transmit through channel kindness to that husband, that wife, as a receiver, the feedback we would get from them would be love, would be a smile, would be joy, peace, and happiness coming back our direction. So try that out. Try kindness back out. Talk to your mate with the same respect, consideration, compassion, and patience that you talk to strangers that you're moving with in the public that may be your customer or somebody that you're trying to win over for a product. And I guarantee you, if we did that, Brother King Cam, we would fix that communication issue quickly.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, family, man. If you are just joining us, we had got frozen a little bit earlier, family. But if you are just coming into the Campaign TV show, I'm your host, Brother King Cam, and I'm here with our dynamic student minister out of Indianapolis, Indiana, student minister Nuri Muhammad. You probably seen him on the Breakfast Club. You probably seen him on Vlad. You probably seen him on multiple interviews or working in the community or doing what he does best, which is teach and be a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Man, we've been here for the last hour and have been getting a lot of wisdom as it pertains to relationships, because the topic tonight is dealing with the state of emergency and crisis in relationships in the black community, because we have a lot of toxicity going on. So, Brother Minister, that's a term that's used a lot in our community, right? Toxic relationships and things like that. Could you share some gems on, how do we alleviate that from even our vocabulary? Because it's something that's celebrated, but we want to start to change the language. We don't want toxic relationships. We want healthy relationships.
Well, the opposite of toxic is tonic. So tonic, everything that exists in the universe, whether it is food, water, air, music, television program, timeline, conversation. Everything that exists in the universe is either tonic or toxic. And what makes a toxic person toxic is that what you put in is what you get out. Man is made up of what has been deposited in. The scientists that study the anatomy of the human body and how people are made into what they are, they consider the makeup of a human being to be by way of two gates, the gate of the eye and the gate of the ear. Whatever goes in the eye and whatever goes in the ear is what is going to make that person tonic or toxic. However, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad said this. He said that the mind and the stomach, these two systems work together. What hurts one hurts the other. So they're half right or 2/3 right by saying mind or eye and ear is what makes us who we are. It's not mind and ear alone, it's mind, ear, and mouth. So if we are feeding our mind through the gate of the eye, the gate of the ear, and the gate of the mouth, that which is tonic, healthy, productive, good, positive, then we will become a tonic person. But if we are feeding ourselves with music, programs on television, timeline that we look at social media, the air we breathe, the food we eat, what we drink to satisfy our thirst, if we are feeding ourselves toxic food, toxic drink, toxic social media, toxic music, toxic television programs, we will become a toxic individual. So don't focus so much on who the toxic other person is. Focus on you becoming the tonic person you're supposed to be. And when you become tonic, positive, clean, right, then you won't want to plant your love in toxic soil, because you know, like anything that's planted in soil, whatever the nature is of the soil, it has a way of integrating into the plant that has been sown, that's going to grow from the seed that has been planted. So be careful where you plant your love. If you don't want your love to become toxic and you to become a toxic plant, don't plant in toxic soil. But in order for you to know what toxic looks like, you must first be tonic yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, family, y'all heard it. So much of this is self-improvement. As the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan says, self-improvement is the basis for community development. And so it is when it comes to your relationships, personal and business relationships. So a lot of this is working on self. And too often, we have a lot of people coming together in relationships who have trauma, who have baggage, and who have not taken the steps to get that baggage cleared, have not taken the steps to clear away that trauma, and they bring that into relationships. And you have hurt people who hurt people, and this is what causes these different things. So we have to be mindful of that always when it comes to these relationships. Thank you, Brother Minister, for that beautiful answer, family, and I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Man, we back up to 133 live viewers in the building, so we appreciate everybody's support, man. We had earlier, I can't even remember, we had Chicago in the building, Indiana in the building, New York in the building, North Carolina, Detroit, Michigan, man. Everybody tuning in from all over the country to get this wisdom tonight. So we appreciate everybody for tuning in, family. Student Minister, we don't want to hold you over. So, but family, if you have questions in the comment section, put your questions in the comment section, and we're going to try to answer them. If you have any questions in the comment section, shout out to Dallas, Texas in the building. Put them in the comment section, and we're going to try to answer them. But Brother Minister Nuri, when it comes to the current state of conditions right now, I made a tweet earlier in the week last week, where I was talking about how women are expecting men today to be men, But a lot of our men have not been raised with an example of a real man. So we need manhood training. How important is manhood training for the men and womanhood training for the women so that we can properly be ourselves?
Well, both of them are very important. In fact, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, listen to these words when he assessed the condition of black people in America. He said, the so-called American Negro must be completely re-educated, for he is unfit for self. So completely re-educated means that we have to do like Moses did. When Moses met God, he had been trained by Pharaoh and Pharaoh's daughter, raised in their schools, taught their diet, eating like they ate, functioning like they functioned, wearing the names of his oppressors, and he had become completely associated with or assimilated with by his association with Pharaoh and his oppressors. So when God met Moses, look what he told him. He said, cast your staff down, throw down your staff. Now, you know, when you graduate from a college or university, the person leading the graduating class always has a staff in their hand. What does it represent? Knowledge. Knowledge that all of the ones behind him are just getting, but he already has. So when Moses threw his staff down, it's a symbol of throw down everything that you've been taught. Lay it out there. And when Moses threw down everything that he had learned from being raised by his oppressor, the scripture says when the staff hit the ground, it was turned into a snake.
That's right.
Letting them know that what you've been taught really ain't worth nothing. In fact, it's going to hurt you more than it's going to help you. Then God said, pick up the snake by its tail. And then it says when he picked it up, it became a purified staff. There's some things that we have been taught here in our sojourn in the West that we can use again. But if we're going to be completely re-educated, we have to be willing to come and throw down all of the training and tutelage that our oppressors have given us in school, in religion, in culture, in sayings and folklore, and even by way of our own fathers, mothers, uncles, and whatnot that have been really given hand-me-down knowledge from the oppressor to us in the name of loving us.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's where we're at right now, Brother King Cam. We have to be completely re-educated. So in that sense, man has to be taught how to be a man. Woman has to be taught how to be a woman. Listen to these words, though. He said, the minister said this. He said, sisters, you did not marry the man of your dreams. He said, the man of your dreams is inside the man that you married. Get to mining him out. Brothers, you did not marry the woman Brothers, you did not marry the woman of your dreams. The woman of your dreams is inside the woman that you married. Get to mining her out. So, well, you know, we ain't got time to go into all that, but the first thing that you have to have as a miner, you have to tread lightly and be very ginger with every step you make. Everything you do, you have to do it with great care, consideration, because you can cause the whole mine to collapse in on you while you're in there. You have to have a protective gear on just in case something unexpected happens, and you have to have a light on your head that you may be able to see in that mine. Well, same as it is for us. You can't be thin-skinned when you're dealing with two people that have been damaged by their training in this world, that have not been taught properly. We also have to be very careful the way we talk to each other and the way we handle each other, lest the whole mind collapse down on us. And both male and female has to have a light on their head, or in this case, a light in their head, with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the function of me as a man and the function of a woman. And if we did that, and with that communication through the channel kindness and treading lightly like we were in a mine, keeping knowledge in our head, and being protective, not being so thin-skinned that everything that goes wrong becomes too offensive and too much to bear, and I gotta quit. I think we could get there and be able to help each other get there. You can't want a Khadijah if you're not a Farrakhan.
Teach on that. Teach on that.
You can't expect yourself to have Abraham if you're not a Sarah. Whatever kind of mate you want, you should be the opposite of that mate in your person. If you are a Khadijah, you'll bring the Farrakhan out of your man. And if you are a Abraham, you bring the Sarah out of your woman. You have to be what you're supposed to be and walk the way you're supposed to walk. And you won't have to ask, demand, request, or try to teach and inspire. Just be the mate to the one you want and watch your mate begin to work to equal themselves up to where you are.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Now, there was a couple of questions in the comment section, but I believe you covered about 3 of them. I know Rise TV has stated, how should people in America address educating our children moving forward? You definitely answered that. The black man and black woman have to be completely re-educated. So we have to put down the knowledge that we've been given in this public school system, and we have to be completely re-educated, specifically by the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his servant in our midst, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, because we don't want you. So we're in the information age, so you can go out here and find anything, but specifically, you need to get that teaching. So we answered that question, and then someone had mentioned, Brother Sharif had mentioned any guidance or words on the best way to get through tough relationships and conversations / disagreements. But you covered that one too.
Well, I would say this too. Again, that's that channel kindness.
Yes, sir.
And look, the Holy Quran says to argue in the best of manners.
That's right.
The best of manners to argue is to not argue at all. See, real people that really are in love with each other, that are kind and considerate to each other, do not have arguments, they have discussions. And there's a difference between an argument and discussion. An argument is when 2 people go back and forth to find out who's right. But a discussion is when 2 people go back and forth to figure out what's right. The goal of any disagreement should not be to win the argument. The goal of any disagreement should be to find what the truth is and bring ourselves up to that truth. So you shouldn't argue. You should disagree, and you should discuss what you disagree on, and you should have, as a couple, the same higher mind or higher teaching that you both look up to settle the disagreement. Problem comes whenever you got 2 different people that believe 2 different things, that function from 2 different worlds. Then you don't have the same high mind and the high truth to lean on to settle your disagreement. If I'm in the ranks of the nation and I'm telling you that, I'm saying so forth, and the minister said this, that, and the other, and you tell me, well, that ain't what Joel Osteen said. Joel Osteen said so forth and so forth. We got a big problem if you getting ready to be putting Joel Osteen in an argument conversation with Farrakhan, and you getting ready to go back and forth with me, Joel Osteen versus Farrakhan. We got a big problem. Bigger than I thought.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you got to have that same high mind. But my brothers, my sisters, that's how you do it,
Yes,
that's
sir.
how you do it. And let your ego, leave your ego at the door. Go for truth and be kind, considerate. If you can't talk to one another in a respectful manner, in a kind manner, wait till you can to discuss.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for that. And Brother Mario, I hope that answers your question, because yours was pertaining specifically to bringing the spouse who's very strong in Christian belief closer to the Muslim faith. So I hope that answered your question. And we have time for one more question, family, and then we're gonna let Brother Minister Nuri go. He got things to do. He done spent a lot of time with us. He done gave us, a lot of information, a lot of stuff that we can chew on. He done gave us a lot of knowledge that can lay pressure on our minds, as the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, and for us to go back, study, and to start to implement in our own personal relationships, business relationships, and even in our relationship with God, right? Because that's very important. The spiritual aspect is very important. So I don't believe that we have any more questions. So what I want to do, family, as we go ahead to close out, I want to give Brother Minister Nuri the opportunity to give us some closing remarks, and I'm going to put some information up here on the screen as he delivers those closing remarks, family, as we get ready to close the show. So thank you for everybody who tuned in, man. We appreciate the love over here at the Campaign TV show. Everybody tuning in from all over the country to hear this broadcast tonight. But go ahead, Brother Minister, any closing remarks for tonight?
Well, I just would say thank you, Brother King Cam, for facilitating this discussion, and we are looking forward to the feedback that comes from it. And I would hope that what you heard today would inspire you to want to convert your home back into the spiritual recharge center it's supposed to be. So you'll have a place that you can go to when you unplug from this no good, wicked, white supremacist world. That you can come to a place called home and plug into a pure place, a place of peace where you can extract power from it to go out and conquer the world for God and for your family. That is what I'm hoping for. And of course, we, in a little time that we've had, we only put on a commercial for how to win at Black Love. And I would ask if you would go to NuriMuhammad.com and get before you say I do, get after you say I do. Get A Well-Made Man, our latest book that last week was released and became the number one new release on Amazon, which is a very hard feat to achieve.
Come on now.
Check it out.
Come on, Brother Minister. Number one. Don't try to speed past that, Brother Minister. Number one on Amazon, though. Come on, y'all. I need y'all to put them flames in the chat right now, because it's not easy to go number one on Amazon. So we got a black man who is a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who got the Satan on the run now, bringing these black families together, healing them, family. So we got to give our brother another round of applause for doing that. Number one on Amazon, family, with these beautiful books. So I need y'all to go to NuriMuhammad.com and clear the shelves. I need Brother Minister Nuri to be on Instagram tonight, packaging up books and getting ready to send them out in the morning, family. So I need y'all to go ahead over to his website and get any of those books that you want to read, whether you in a relationship, like he said, before I say I do, after I say I do. For people who are already in a relationship, I have After I Say I Do. I'm going to be getting A Well-Made Man, right? So I need y'all to slide over there, and I need y'all to sell Brother Minister Nuri out, because he gave us a lot of good information tonight.
They're offering free shipping right now, free next day shipping on everything. So you just click on it, go to NuriMuhammad.com, click on whichever books you want, and they'll come right to you. Probably if you order them tonight, you'll have them by Thursday.
And it's free shipping, family. It's free shipping. You don't have no excuse. You don't even have to pay no shipping on it. You just order the book straight up, and you don't have no excuse, family. So I need y'all to do that as well. And Brother Minister, talk about your upcoming lecture that you have, upcoming event that you have called Supreme Mathematics this Sunday.
We are excited to be at the Mid-Atlantic Regional Headquarters of the Nation of Islam this Sunday. We will be at a community center in Washington, D.C. Subject is Supreme Mathematics. Come out if you want to learn how to use your mathematical theology in the proper terms, escape spookism, and learn how to build a life of joy, peace, happiness with luxury, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life. We're going to unpack Sit Yourself in Heaven at Once this Sunday in Washington, D.C. If you're not there, text the word math to 317-548-8508, and I'll send you a free copy of the message. We just had a good hit in Cleveland Saturday, and a great set yesterday, or what's today? On Sunday in Detroit, and inshallah we'll have the same coming this Sunday in Washington, D.C. Join us if you live there. If you know somebody that is, please invite them. If you can't make it, don't worry about it. Text the word math to 317-548-8508, and we'll send you a free copy.
8508. Make sure that y'all go ahead.
317-548-8508.
That's right, family. There you have it. So I'm putting that right here on the chat, on the screen as well, family. If you would like to get a free copy of that message from Cleveland, Ohio last week, you can go ahead and get that right now by texting MAV to 317-548-8508, family. And if you're in the DMV area, whether it's DC, Maryland, or Virginia, you can get over there to Washington, D.C. this upcoming Sunday and see and hear from my good brother, Student Minister Nuri Muhammad, on Supreme Mathematics, family. And then also, again, if you are someone who is interested in, making your relationship stronger, wanting to become a better man, right? As we go and talk more about this self-improvement piece, brothers, because that's so important. While we want to have relationships with the ladies and things of that nature, making sure that we are on point as men, moving properly, thinking militant, thinking the same thoughts as God, our creator, thinks, and make sure that we producing, providing, and protecting for our families. It's very important. You want to make sure that you get the latest book. That's #1 on Amazon. Don't forget that part. #1 on Amazon, A Well-Made Man by brother Student Minister Nuri Muhammad, and you can get that at NuriMuhammad.com. Free shipping right now, family, so it's no excuses, and I want my brother to have adequate amount of sales on the back end of the night, family, so I need y'all to go over there and grab that, because listen, we have to support those who support us. We have to support those who support us. So this knowledge, we didn't charge nobody to come in here for this podcast tonight. Didn't charge nobody to come on in Cleveland last week. We ain't charging nobody this Sunday in Washington, D.C., family. So because we are giving to the people, family, you need to support those who support us. So go and make sure you purchase any of those books. And then if you are in the DMV area, family, show up, show your support, share, like, send a text message, text the number so you can at least get the free message that he's giving away as well, family, to tap in, because this is what's necessary. We support Satan all day, every day. Walmart, Kroger, all the bad food in the food deserts, Popeye's chicken. Y'all go through there, get all the chicken strips and all that kind of stuff. Y'all support that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't have no problem with supporting that. We don't have no problems going to concerts and listening to our favorite rappers talk about killing each other, watching our sisters get on stage, take their clothes off. We spend all big money for that, But when it comes to supporting those who are actually adding to the community, adding value, bringing impact, and giving us righteous wisdom, we act like, we get niggly with our hands. So let's not do that. Let's start a new trend tonight, family, and making sure that we support those who support us. So again, thank you, Brother Minister, for stopping by tonight. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I think you just breaking records all over the country, because it's probably the #1 show. You probably the #1 guest that came on the show tonight. You just breaking records, Amazon, podcast records, and everything like that. So praise be to Allah. Look, Sister Bridget said she is getting her book tonight, and a couple other people said they got their book or getting their book. So I seen it in the comment section. The comment section is through the roof. So man, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. And again, man, this is your brother King Cam. If you are interested in just staying in tune of what's going on with the podcast, the number has been scrolling across the bottom of the screen. You can text the word podcast to 404-737-1030. You'll be a part of the podcast community, and you'll receive flyers, updates, and everything going on with the podcast. So again, we thank you all for joining us tonight, and we pray that something here that you heard was valuable, impactful, and that you can use it in your life. We leave you in the greeting words of peace, as we say it in the Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave you. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will enslave. They gave leadership to our foreparents, and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find the leadership of our own.
Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they see me in my presence, say they see how I'm coming. Young, but you not just gonna finesse me like you did my peoples. Then back when you said they was emancipated. This ain't that. Your head too big, you feeling yourself. The game wasn't fair, you had the advantage, we wasn't educated. I don't look at you people the same. Nah. Your worst nightmare, my skin tone about them chains. Yeah. Not no circus lion, son, I can't be tamed. You gon' have to kill me, pussy, Toby ain't my name. Y'all still want us think our history started when we were slaves? What? Come on now, talk about them pyramids we made. I was chosen by